I want.
I mean, it's going to everything other than our personal Facebook page, basically. Pages. And now it's going to 3 Twitch channels.
Guys, we're big time.
Poorly, Sean's, and then also I put my personal one on there too. I was like, man, whatever. Gives a shit.
Boys, we're huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge.
Worldwide.
Worldwide web. I put my personal one on there too. I was like, yeah, whatever. Gives a shit. What? That was very meta.
Come on now.
Yeah. And then who wants to do the little opener?
Who does? Who's gonna
personally, do it? I think Derek should do it, and then I think it should be like, "Hey, Daddy."
Yeah. Yep.
Welcome to sports program.
Okay,
Yep.
I'll do it. I'll do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do it. I just feel like you'd be able to actually pull it off, and I feel like I'd fuck it up before I started.
I got something. I'll say something like that. I got a little something in the chamber.
Okay. Oh yeah, you do.
Were you ready then?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Oh, I mean, brief. I mean, show notes. Brief on NBA. It's back.
Yeah, there's some really misleading records out there right now.
Yeah.
Like, there's like a couple teams that are like 1-4, where you're like,
Okay.
what the fuck?
I say we start on NBA. We should definitely talk about college football. Those games were fucking ridiculous yesterday. I mean, Clemson and Ohio State, obviously a little bit of an upset. We'll talk about it, but we'll get there. But I mean, I want to specifically talk about one of those games that should not have happened. Specifically. And also I have a new take from me. Just a new take from me personally. I changed my opinion on something when it comes to the college football. I've changed my mind on something that I was adamant about something before. But teaser. Let's do this. Welcome to the show. Sports program, Daddy. Oh.
It's the sports program on TSPN with Derek, Zach, and Sean, who's been here the whole time. Head over to timespentpoorly.com and give the show a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and help move this show into more people's suggested lists. This show is also streamed live on many platforms, including YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. Follow and subscribe so you don't miss out on an opportunity to chat in and give the guys a piece of your mind during the broadcast. Want to support the show? Great! Go to patreon.com/timespentpoorly to see how you can do that. And now it's my pleasure to bring you the hosts of the sports program on TSPN, Derek, Zach, and Sean.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. Saturday, live at noon, our North time. God, the daddy almost threw up on my words when I said the daddy thing.
It was good because you seemed disgusted at yourself.
As soon as I knew I was going to say it, I choked on it a little bit. Okay, we're back. A little hot. We had a little holiday hiatus because 2 weekends in a row, I realized that I was committed to things, and that's how family is. So, but we're back. It's the new year. This is the first show of the new year. In fact,
Happy New Year.
Wow. Happy New Year, gents. Man, I'm actually really glad to be back because I miss doing this show. Love doing this show. Plus, a lot of things going on. NBA is back. College football. We just had a bunch of bowls that are even if college bowls had asterisks on them before because there's so many of them, they definitely have asterisks on them now this year because some of these teams have played 6 games or less. But who cares? It doesn't matter. I changed my opinion on something though, and I teased it before we went live.
Yeah, what is it?
I wanted to go to an 8-team playoff for college football. I don't want to do that. I actually don't. And my opinion changed after Notre Dame yesterday. They had no business being there. I don't care how good of a season they had no business being there. They clearly are not going to be on the same level as some of the other teams. And having an 8-team playoff is just going to extend out bad teams that shouldn't be. They don't have any right being there. I don't need to see the University of Washington go get beat by a number 1 seed. I don't need to see an 8 seed team get stomped. There's a reason why they're number 8.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama with 1 loss is going to always be better than like the University of Washington with undefeated season. It's just the way it's going to be. And I personally don't need to see an 8 seed team go play a number 1 seed team because it's just not the same. The conferences aren't the same. The teams are never going to be the same. It could change in the future if Notre Dame sticks in the ACC. You know, maybe they reach that caliber. You know, because they're playing with Clemson. You know, maybe we see that change now that they're not like an Indy. I mean, it's just year only right now, but maybe that changes. But it was proof. It was full proof yesterday. They had no right being there.
I mean, it was proof when they played Clemson in the championship last year or the year before.
They just
was slaughter.
Yeah, they just didn't need to be there. And
yeah, I'm even surprised by the 2-3 game, right? Like, I don't think a lot of people even thought a 3 seed Ohio State with only 7 games played was going to be able to compete with Clemson. Now they blew them out of the water, so I'm glad the game happened. I never liked the idea of 8. If I'm going to give my opinion on it, I never liked the idea of 8, but I do still. And you're right. There's really usually only 2 good teams, right? It's like we could just have Alabama and Clemson play every year. Now it looks like maybe there's also another team in Ohio State, but I like the idea of 6. And I always
giving the 1 seeds a bye.
Giving the 1 seed a bye, so you don't have that game where they blow out a 6 seed. And the reason I like that isn't for the 1-4 matchup. I still think whoever wins that gets into that 4 seed and plays the 1 seed probably still going to get blown out, right? Mm-hmm. But we saw yesterday 2 versus 3. Maybe a different team earns that 3 spot, right? Like Cincinnati looked really good against Georgia yesterday. Maybe it's because it didn't mean anything to Georgia, right? They still won 24-21. Cincinnati looked like they can compete with the big boys. Once again, game doesn't mean anything, so who knows? But you let 6 in, you get every single conference champion in. And then the other reason I like that is because then you say, I don't care how good the SEC is, they get 1. Every conference champion gets 1. Big 12 gets 1, even if they're not as good. Okay. Pac-12 gets 1. Everyone gets 1. And then you give that 6th spot to a non-Power 5 school. So this year it could have been like Cincinnati or BYU or what was the other one? Coastal Carolina or whoever ended up being really good, awesome. One of them get it. And maybe there's a controversy on which one of those 3 gets it, but who cares? We're letting one of them into the dance. You know what I mean? It cuts out that debate.
You got your room for your Boise States to sneak in when they have a phenomenal season. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah. And then we still get to use all of the big bowl games to be those games, right? Like the Rose Bowl is now one of those. I think it works, but yeah, you're probably right. There's really only ever 2 or 3 good teams, like great teams. And I don't know when that changes, but the other thing you have to take into consideration is one day Alabama might not be Alabama. Alabama wasn't Alabama before Nick Saban.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Before Nick Saban had to go there and save Alabama. So one day Nick Saban retires, there's going to be new teams taking that.
Nick Saban had to screw
spot.
over an NFL team to go over to save
Right.
a college team. Oh, also, I'm going to go ahead and throw it out here now. I watched Ohio State and Clemson, most of it. I mean, when it looked like Clemson wasn't going to come back and win the whole thing. I still think Trevor Lawrence is still the best quarterback in college. I think he will be a generational talent. I'm happy we'll talk about this when we get there. I'm happy he's not going to go to the Jets. I'm good for him. I'm happy for him that he's not going to go to the Jets. I think Jacksonville has been in the playoffs in the last 5 years. Like it's not a death sentence to go to Jacksonville at all. It's a death sentence to go to the Jets. Like you're done. Systemically bad team.
Jacksonville.
But Jacksonville has been to the playoffs in the last 5 years, and they go. Yeah. They have seen success as a franchise. They have seen Jets since I've been alive.
The Jaguars and the Jets always have a super good player that ends up leaving their team.
Yeah.
That's
every year.
Yeah.
Almost every year.
Chark is a really good receiver.
Yeah.
I think
he'll
he's
be
like
there next year. No, he'll be there next year.
Oh yeah, I think he's the star of that team.
Yeah. And
I think
excited,
he'll
I'm
stay
sure.
if they get Trevor. Like I think he'd re-sign. I think he'd get a new contract if he knew Trevor Lawrence was going to be there.
Anyway, so where I was going with it is, it was cool to see. I still think Trevor Lawrence is the pick. I think Justin Fields can be brilliant. I think Alabama is going to have a day with Ohio State, though. I don't think Ohio State has a chance to beat Alabama. I just don't. I think it's still going to come down to that's an SEC NFL level team against Ohio State. And Ohio State's good, but
Ohio State has more future NFL players on there.
They do right now. Yeah.
They do most years.
Traditionally, we've seen this, though. Remember, like, Ohio State played Florida bad. Ohio State played, what was it, Louisiana? When Jamarcus Russell was there.
Right.
Bad. Like, we see this. Remember, that was before the playoffs. That's how people started arguing the playoffs. Like, Ohio State got in, like, 2 years in a row and got crushed by SEC teams. And people are like, hey, maybe a playoff would be. It still would have been Ohio State and those teams, but
I don't know. I think this is an interesting year where Alabama just played a pretty grueling 12-game schedule, and Ohio State's only played 7 games. That could be a huge benefit. I don't know if that's a huge benefit, but I mean, wear and tear on players is going to be a thing. And I think Justin Fields yesterday there was a lot of talk during the week when you watch like any sports TV show, sports talk. All of a sudden, it was like Zach Wilson's the better quarterback. Now Justin Fields is down to 3 now on Mel Kiper's big board, Todd McShay's big board, and he probably heard that he was losing some draft stock and just balled out. I don't know if like people get inspired. I don't know the mind of a player. I don't know if they get inspired by media basically throwing him under the bus like that. But he balled out.
I would, dude, talking shit. Fuck that.
But I mean, I don't know if they actually pay attention. I imagine as a young kid, like a 21-year-old, you probably pay attention though, right? Like, if you're not paying attention, then your friends are retweeting it and then forwarding it to you.
Oh, they're telling you about it. Yeah, I mean,
if you're not paying attention, someone's sending it to you.
Yeah,
I mean, either way, he looked great, and I'm one of those people that I mean, the Falcons pick 5. Maybe potentially even 4 if we lose this week. So we're going to be in the talk to get whoever the third quarterback is. So it's either Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, right? Like they're going to draft one or of the two of them. I was saying all week I don't want either. Like if we get Zach Wilson, I'm just going to be done watching football. I'll move on. I'm a soccer guy now. Football's not really my sport. Never was really a fan. That's how I'll feel if we get Zach Wilson. But if we get Justin Fields, I'm not going to be too stoked either. He just seems like a worse Deshaun Watson. And he's just constantly having to pull like a rabbit out of his hat. A rabbit out of a hat. I was gonna say out of his ass, but
I mean, he did.
and make something happen. But
I mean, it was awesome. I'm not. He took a massive, nasty hit in that game, and for him to come back and play like ball out the way he did, I mean, it was still super impressive. Like, it was I mean, I thought Clemson was going to win that game, and repeat, get Clemson and Alabama, and that was the way it was going to be. And I think everybody kind of thought that, like, well, it'll be Clemson and Alabama, and that's just the way it's going to be. And
I would say after watching that game, though, the original loss Clemson had to Notre Dame makes a lot more sense. Like why they lost that game. It wasn't just that Trevor Lawrence wasn't there.
Right.
That this maybe isn't as good of a Clemson team as they've had the last few years. But back to what you said, because I've been hearing this a lot lately. People keep talking about the amount of talent, NFL talent, that Alabama has on their teams. Sure, they have some, like every SEC team does. But like, if I asked you name 5 starting Alabama players in the NFL, you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it.
I don't even
and
know
like, if I said name, you can't name an Alabama starting quarterback besides for Tua. Well, I guess Jalen Hurts is like a tweener, right? Like he did play there technically, but like there isn't another starting Alabama quarterback. They have running backs all over the place. They have receivers all over the place. But what I think of when I think of Alabama is like dominant defensive lines, dominant linebackers, great offensive lines. You can't really name a lot of them. And like in the NFL, you can name as many, if not more, Ohio State players. You can name every team seems like they have a corner from Clemson. So I don't think it's just that. I think it's more of like even the backups on Clemson and Alabama sometimes end up as NFL players. Like they just have so much more depth than these other schools. And I mean, the best defensive rookie in this year's last draft was from Ohio State. Like they have talent too. We can't just throw them under the bus and say they don't have as much talent. They're going out there with an equal amount of pro prospects on the two teams. So,
I mean, otherwise bowl games were pretty yawn. I mean, really.
I just checked the scores. I didn't watch anything.
Yeah.
Do you guys like? I mean, like we didn't go to any of those schools. Like, and I know we all like sports, but it's pretty. Like, do you feel even compelled to watch any of the like title eliminating bowl games?
Not particularly.
If it's not, I don't know.
If today's Oregon Iowa State, I'm gonna watch that game. At least to see if Oregon's like off to, because I think they were a year out anyways. I think next year they're going to be a team that has the potential to make that 4 teams. So I want to see how they end the year, right? Like I want to see them end strong. But if I start watching that game and it's not a super exciting game, I'm not going to be compelled to keep it on.
Yeah,
because ultimately it doesn't mean anything.
I do feel like with college sports, it does have to be handed to me on a silver platter too. Like it needs to be accessible. I need to be able to watch it. I'm not going to go out of my way to go find any game. Like I watch the BCS because it's on main TV. So I mean, if it's not accessible to me, I don't go out of my way to just go watch it.
I don't know. Like I'll pay attention to the Ducks now because that's our team.
Right, yeah, that's our team now. Yeah.
And then I like to, if the Cougars have an exciting quarterback, I like to see what they're doing.
And I do think they do. I thought their quarterback was like the one shining spot of the team this year. I was like, that guy's going to be good.
And, I mean,
so they do well at quarterback, right? They do well.
Yeah. So I will say this year, because I know I've messaged Sean about a couple of Ohio State games this year. Earlier in the season, when I knew the Falcons were going to be, you messaged about Justin Fields a couple times during the season. Yeah. So when I knew the Falcons were going to be dog shit, which was earlier than I led on in the show, for sure. When I knew the Falcons were not going to be good, which was before the season started.
Like with week 14, you really...
Week 0, I knew the Falcons were going to be dog shit. But so I started watching Ohio State games because I had a feeling like we're not going to be Trevor Lawrence bad, but we could be Justin Fields bad, and we are. So I have watched enough games to decide if I like him or I don't like him. So yesterday was very confusing for me. Like I was like, I'd already written him off in my head. I wanted him to be dog shit. I don't want my team to draft him. And now if we do draft him, I may be slightly optimistic.
It sucks because the 2 games prior to yesterday, he did not look good. And so
Right.
they played Northwestern, right?
Yeah.
That was a bad game. That was a really bad game.
He looked bad in that game.
He looked
didn't look
confused.
great.
He looked yeah. I mean, I had
I'm trying to think of the other game he didn't look good in. Was it like Illinois? He didn't look good in the Illinois game at first.
Yeah.
Took a while to get going. He ended up making some like insane plays in all those games as it went on, like a game-saving type play. But they were also seemed like they were in that position a lot of the time because of him. So I don't know. As a it'd be funnier if the Falcons just drafted another Alabama wide receiver and we just had 3 of the best of all time on one team. Because by the way, Alabama's wide receiver who's going to win the Heisman, because he had 17 touchdown catches in a shortened season. I guess Alabama still played like the full year, but 17 touchdown catches in the college season. Dude's going to get drafted 3rd or 4th overall. So maybe we just say bye-bye, Julio, you old bitch, and bring in the new baby boy.
The young buck.
If we did that, I would also quit football because that's hilarious. They're like, we have all these needs on defense. Our quarterback's 36 turning 37. Our offensive line clearly, even though it's 5 first-rounders, are not getting the job done. We're going to draft an Alabama wide receiver again. I'd love it.
Yeah.
I'd love it. I'd love it.
We are gonna I don't have a natural way to segue this. Do we have anything else on college? I would like to talk a little bit of NBA before we jump into the picks.
Transition real quick. We'll slow transition this. We just did college football. College basketball is also back, and we were just talking about
That's true.
Football being spoon-fed. I know probably more of Derek's opinion on this, but like a lot of people who I know who especially didn't go to like NCAA schools, right? Like how much before March Madness do you actually watch? For a while, for me, it was enough to half-ass educated fill out my bracket, right? Like enough to where I could fill out a bracket. So maybe like the conference tournaments is where I would start watching a few years ago. When I was younger, like high school, I would watch every Texas Longhorn game that was on TV regardless. But after hitting about like 20, it was like March Madness and conference tournaments. Where are you guys at on that? Do you watch any regular season college basketball?
I pay attention to the rankings, and about February I'll start watching a little bit of so I can have some vague idea of going into to March Madness. That said, prior to doing this show, and if you listen to early episodes of this show, I didn't watch any college basketball until March Madness. This show has changed a lot of what I watch on as far as sports go, though. I mean, just trying to have a better idea of some of the younger stars that are in, and trying to be ready for the future, keep an eye on different talents, but really, I didn't go, like you said, I didn't go to a school that had a NCAA team. And so I don't have a college basketball team, except for maybe the Ducks, Oregon Ducks,
Well, so yeah.
Top them.
Similar to how I went to like Oregon football games a lot when I lived there, I did get to go to a few basketball games, and in person, I love Ducks basketball games. Like those are, I think if anybody I knew that kind of like that team went to a game, they would be hooked on college basketball. That being said, unless they're on like ESPN or ESPN2, I'm not watching the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not going to go search for it. Like I'm not going to go on ESPN Plus and find the game and watch it. But if it's on and it's like 6 o'clock on a Tuesday, I'll put it on.
Yeah, and I have the
Shawnee
unfortunate.
boy.
I have the unfortunate I live in the unfortunate area of Gonzaga fans all over. So, and I hate Gonzaga. So,
Well, yeah, there's a little saying on the show, right?
yeah, fuck Gonzaga.
Fuck Gonzaga.
Yeah, they're almost as bad as Notre Dame, and I've always said that.
Mm-hmm. I don't.
Maybe even worse.
I've never done a bracket.
You're gonna.
I will
this year,
yeah. When Zion was the talk of the town, I watched a couple games.
That's so true.
Thank you, Randy. Very true.
So,
yeah. You'll do a bracket this year just because we just do it on the show, but
which I know.
I've never been good at doing the bracket though. I don't think I've never picked the team.
Have you even had a team get close?
I think back when it was like a gimme where you could do like you pick Duke or like North Carolina, you're like, well, one of these clowns will get in there.
I got Kansas one year, but it's not really about picking the winner. It's more of like getting a lot of those first 2-round matchups right? Because like when there's a lot of teams in there, you're getting more points for the first couple rounds. Like picking the winner is just a cherry on top, really. Like last year, I was like 98% through the first 2 rounds, like on fire.
That's
and then
big,
everything fell apart. Everybody that I had winning from like the Sweet 16 or Elite 8 on lost. So I felt super good and then crumbled.
Of course, that's the year before. That's it was 2019, which is crazy.
Oh yeah,
we didn't even get to do it.
That did not happen.
We didn't even have it. This year, I think it'll happen regardless. They will have it. There's no way 2 years in a row they're gonna just cancel it forever. They'll do a bubble. They'll do something. They'll figure it out. Like they're not gonna just cancel March Madness again. Absolutely not. There might not be fans, but it'll happen. That's so much TV money that they lost out on.
Yeah.
And schools brick and mortar schools specifically are hurting so bad right now. Like there's no way they're just gonna.
That's the great thing about the NCAA tournament. Teams like Richmond make it, like William and Mary, like all these like, like schools that probably get a ton of revenue from this. Like it's got to happen.
But if you look
I'll be really excited when it does. I'll be really excited when it does.
If you look at the rankings, though, it's so bizarre because there's been so many canceled games. So you have teams that are like 7-0 or 8-1, and then you have teams that are like 3-0. Like it's just nuts, dude. Like it's Duke is number 20 right now at 3-2. It's like you're joking. You're barely 500.
Well, Duke has kind of surprised me this year. I genuinely thought they were going to be a better team. I'll tell you who is a good team. It happened this morning. Texas versus Kansas. Texas blew out Kansas. I can't say the last time, if ever. I've seen them beat them, but I haven't seen them blow them out. This is not only the best Texas team that Shaka Smart's ever had. I was wondering. I think for Shaka Smart, I thought this was the year where he finally met those expectations, or they were going to fire him. It was the same for Herman in football. Now we're seeing Herman's gone. Looks like Sarkisian might replace him, which makes me want to vomit in my mouth. As a college football fan, as a Atlanta Falcons fan, if Steve Sarkisian gets the Texas job, I'm going to puke. The Iowa State coach would be a great candidate for that job, Campbell. Go for that, dude. But they're going to hire Steve Sarkisian, and then I'm going to puke in my mouth. Multiple times. But Shaka Smart, this had to be his year. And not only do I think it's the best team Shaka has had since coming to Texas, I think it's the best Texas Longhorn team to ever exist. Like this is a Longhorn team that could Elite 8, Final Four caliber, maybe not win it all, because I don't want to say it, but Gonzaga is nuts this year.
They are. Yeah.
Gonzaga is the top tier.
They're number 1 right now.
Every time that they're in the top 4, I go, who cares when the tournament comes around? They're either going to dip out early or they're going to make the championship and get blown out in the championship or something. They're not going to win it, right? They're going to be really close, but they're not going to win it. This year, they have to be the odds-on favorite to win it all.
Yeah.
Before the year started, I thought Baylor would probably be that team, but it's Gonzaga.
And last year when they were number one before everything got canceled, I thought they probably could have won it last year as well. I mean, they were dominant. I mean, they were a dominant team last year. So, you know, I know a lot of people were pretty upset, you know, that we didn't have March Madness. I was upset just because I like doing the bracket. You know, I don't necessarily care about any of the teams, but we'll see. NBA is going though. NBA is going. I don't know. I'm looking at the standings so far. A few of these teams that are, you know, in the first four spots, especially in the East. I will say I have been enjoying watching the Atlanta Hawks. I think Trae Young is really good. I'm really glad they got him. I actually do legitimately think he's a great player.
I think he needs a fucking haircut.
I do think he needs a haircut too. We've talked about that before.
I fucking hate his hair.
And the Clint Capella pickup is finally starting to make sense.
Yeah.
John Collins is starting to come into his own. It took him 4 or 5 years. He was kind of just like a high flyer, high flying big man, dunks. But I watched a couple games this year. He's expanded his shot. He's shooting from the outside. Trae Young is a great facilitator. He's more of like a Steph Curry than a maybe like a Damian Lillard or someone who's just going to jack up crazy deep threes. He's a guy who's also going to facilitate, right? Like the Steph Curry comparisons are starting to make sense.
Yeah.
To me. And some people gave the Steve Nash comparisons because he's a good facilitator.
Well, his favorite basketball player of all time is Steve Nash.
But he's 30-8 right now, 30 points a game.
Yeah.
8 assists.
Yeah.
The dude's a monster. I do think this. If you look at those records, another thing that you can get from that is either teams that weren't in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So the Hawks have gotten to rest this whole time, man. And we're seeing that with some of these players. Some of their players had never shot an outside. Like Collins, again, he's shooting threes. He must have been working on that in the extended off season. They just have a lot more energy. They had time to go do what clearly the bubble teams are just recovering from, which is off season, finally getting to party. Yeah. Luka's fat because it was 76 days ago when the bubble ended, right?
Right.
He was out a little earlier, but they were just starting to enjoy their off season and then start to get back in shape. Where if you're on the Hawks or a team that was out super early in the playoffs, like the Orlando Magic, or a team like the Suns that was in the bubble but left before the playoffs started, you got to go enjoy a little bit of off season, then probably get back in shape.
Well, and even the Cavaliers are 3-2 right now. I mean, they're not going to end up in the top 8, but they've had a ton of time to rest, right? They haven't played,
and it just seems like a lot of these teams that are top dogs just are not necessarily full throttle yet. Like Bucks, Nets. The Nets are the team that between them and the Bucks, that's 1 and 1A for the East for me. They're the 7 and the 8 seed right now, same record. By the end of the year, I think it's still going to be Bucks, Nets, Lakers, Clippers. Similar to last year. Plus, insert the Nets. I don't think a lot's going to change. But right now, it's just we're seeing more of what we saw in the bubble, which is with no crowd, people are just shooting the lights out. People that have never been good at shooting threes are still just making crazy buckets. And then me as a Spurs fan, you as a Blazers fan, I think both those teams are just genuinely improved. Once again, out early in the bubble. I think they had enough time to kind of work on some stuff. Blazers made a ton of moves. I think that Lakers win showed it really paid off. Spurs lost to the Lakers last night, but that was a great game.
That game
they showed that they showed their young guys can compete. I know it was at home, and we still, even with no fans, we still have that Spurs home court advantage.
The Lakers don't seem very excited yet.
They're figuring stuff out.
Yeah,
and we should have took advantage of it while you were still figuring out, like Portland did. Portland went after
because they got those 2 new big pieces, right?
Right.
Whatever their names are. The guy from the Clippers and the guy from
Harrell off the bench. Yeah, they're still figuring out his role in that, that pick and roll. I think Kuzma just keeps getting better. So I think he's already
right. Yeah. I think this might be his year.
But LeBron looks like he's on autopilot till he needs not to be. I noticed it the first time we played like last Wednesday. LeBron was taking it easy, like just gliding down court, shooting threes, like not really trying to take it to the basket. And then in the second half, he was like, okay, I'm just going to start dominating these young guys. Yeah. And at the end of the game last night, him and Anthony Davis just took it to another level out of nowhere.
And then at the end of the game, like Anthony Davis doesn't ever smile till like the end of the game. And at the end of the game, he's all smiley.
I love the series stuff too, boys. I love it.
It's really cool.
I think it's great.
Multiple games.
I don't see a reason why they didn't do this sooner.
Yeah.
If you're already in the city, just play them twice.
Yeah, I love it.
Baseball
has it right in that aspect. And then
I think even series, I love it.
I even think hockey could do it.
Yeah.
I think hockey will probably steal that for this year, right? It would make a ton of sense. Who was it? I'm trying to think. Like, back-to-backs still happen in the NBA. They're cutting back on them less, like 2 nights in a row. But if you're going to have a doubleheader, make it the same team. Don't make it 2 different teams. Don't make, like, the Spurs go to LA, play the Clippers, and then the next night have to head north and play Golden State. Just make them play the Clippers again,
right?
Or the Lakers again in the same house. Like, they can stay in LA, they can play the Clippers 2 nights in a row, have a day off, and then play the Lakers the next day, which is exactly what we're doing. We're playing the Lakers 3 times this week, and then the Clippers once. Like, everything they're doing makes more sense. I think maybe why they didn't do it before, total just guess. Is that ticket sales when there are fans, you might not want to pay to be going to the same game against the same team as a home team person. Like maybe if you're in LA and we're playing the Hawks, maybe we don't want to watch the Hawks again the next night or 2 nights from then. So maybe they would worry that second game would have a huge dip in sales. But spoiler alert, when the Hawks come to town, there's a huge dip in sales anyways. So maybe that's just a terrible example.
Well,
until this year.
You might have people, I could see a way in which it might improve ticket sales, which is you have people that go to baseball games, they'll buy packages of 3, they'll go watch Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They'll go watch all 3 games, go watch a 3-game series.
Well, and then I brought to mind is that maybe why does that hurt baseball? Do you think
baseball hurts?
Well, they have they have so many home games that some games just have like you've watched Tuesday night games on baseball, right? Like look in the crowd, there's like 100 people.
Yeah.
I mean they don't care.
No, it doesn't matter.
Baseball,
they don't care. They have so many games. It's a sheer numbers game with them. It's a sheer numbers game. But I think some of these teams that are drastically overachieving are going to digress a little bit back to somewhere around 500. I think a couple of them are truly better. Philadelphia is genuinely a better team. I think we knew that. Like Daryl Morey came in and made changes. I think the Pacers are just a good team in general. I think the Hawks will stay good. I don't think Cleveland's going to stay good. It's working right now, but I mean, there's a couple teams much below them that have a much better chance of coming back, like the Heat, Charlotte, even. I would say the Raptors will probably figure it out. In the West, Luka's gonna get in shape sometime. I don't see a lot of the other stuff in the West changing, except for the Nuggets are 1-4 and have not looked great so far. They're gonna figure it out. The Nuggets are gonna figure it out.
You think the Suns are gonna stay rolling like this?
Chris Paul tends to make teams playoff teams, right?
Well, I mean, look at last year with OKC.
We're already doing okay in the bubble.
We're gonna find out a lot when fans come back in the next 2 months. Like exactly what I've been saying about this whole like bubble atmosphere, right? Like the no fans, how certain guys just really change their game and step up in these opportunities. Like what happens when fans come back and the Suns go back to being the Suns?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that proves me right, but I would probably imply that it did. I would probably take credit for being right if that's something that happened.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'm excited it's back.
Yeah, me too.
I would say overall, now that they're actually playing in their stadiums, I don't really overthink the whole crowd thing. And there are parts of it where I watched a Spurs broadcast the other day where you could hear everyone on the court talking to each other, which we didn't get in the bubble because they found ways to either talk over it or play some audio over it or whatever. They're not doing that on the local broadcast. They might do it on the ESPN broadcast, but if you have NBA League Pass and you're watching a Portland game, you're hearing all the talk when someone's at the foul line, when people are in the huddle.
They still got to move the
like
mic away. I noticed they still got to move the mic away from Carmelo Anthony when he rebounds, though. Definitely. He's got a mouth.
What does he say? Does he curse?
He's every time he's known for it. He says stuff like it's not even voluntary. He goes up for a rebound and he says stuff like "fuck out of here," like
or give me that fucking thing. Like he'll literally be like, "Give me that fucking thing."
They said like when he played for the Knicks, like they said that like it's just a compulsive. Like he just does it. He doesn't mean to do it. He just does it. So they gotta.
I don't see the problem.
No, there's no problem. It's just if you're on TV, they don't want to drop in the F-bomb on TV. But
I think we should all say a little more fuck these days.
Sure.
But the kids, this is an ESPN product these days.
Should we go pick them?
Disney.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. We'll play a little
final pick 'em of the season. I was in third, and then last week happened. And I am no longer there.
Oh.
Let me go ahead and look at first off who is leading us right now.
Some person I don't know who they are. I don't know who that person is. They're like the only person on the entire list. I don't know who they are.
It's still, I feel like it's a bot.
I think so too. The Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Yeah. Oh, they're in first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
getting
Paul
down.
Page.
No,
isn't Smashing Fools? Isn't that Paul Page?
Yeah, but Jesus Shuttlesworth, I think it's Dean. It's either Dean or Adam.
Oh, okay.
Sean, Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Sean Marks has made quite a comeback. Jesus, I'm actually just not looking at this. I'm in 5th place. I've made a comeback.
You guys are right.
Yeah,
each other.
Yeah, we've been neck and neck all season.
I didn't realize I made it into top 5, though. I had no idea.
This is the type of week, if you blasted off a perfect week, which is very reasonable to do in this final week. If you blasted off a perfect week, you could go from 5th to 1st.
Adam is still Adam Olinger. He's in 13th. It's not him.
I think it's Dean America.
Could be right.
Almost positive.
Trying to look. Okay. Yeah, I don't know who this Giddy. The 2 and 3, I have no idea who those people are.
Giddy's the person I didn't know who it was.
Yeah. And then ESPN fan 44146196. I don't know. That could be a bot. I don't know. I don't even know.
No, it's just probably someone who got assigned a name and didn't want to set up an account.
Maybe they just joined us first time this year. But anyway, yeah. So we had a lot to play.
By the way, they're doing a pigskin playoff pick'em this year, which is the first year they've ever done it. We usually do the NFL.com playoffs, but maybe this year we'll check that out.
Yeah, we'll give it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right, so game 1 out of the gate. There are no Saturday games this time because it's the last of the regular season. That means next week is Wild Card Weekend, correct?
You bet.
So there will be Saturday games next week.
Mhm.
So we got the Atlanta Falcons at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I went Buccaneers on this, not with a lot of support. Just I figured the Buccaneers would just do this game. That said, the Falcons had them, had to run for the money. Also, I want to bring this up. How about the blatant cheating from NFL for the Buccaneers, for Tom Brady and the Bucs? Clearly, they bring out the chains. The football is clearly short of the first down, and they just give it to him. Even the announcers were just shocked. Man, that looks short to me. I don't know. I guess I just don't know. Let's go to Bob with the rules in New York.
Last week's game, right?
No, it was against the Falcons. It was against the Falcons.
Yeah.
They what was it, 4th and 3rd or 4th and 1 or something? They
I had that game on, but
Leonard Fournette, they give him the ball. He's clearly short of the first down. They place the ball further ahead than where he even was.
Then they still didn't get it.
And then they still didn't get it. They bring out the chains as pictures, close-ups of the ball.
I have to look this up now. I had
2
the
inches
game
short
on,
of
but
the fucking chain. And they go, the announcers go, oh my God, he didn't get it. I mean, the whole narrative, oh my God, he didn't get it. I can't believe it. Oh my God. They go, first down. Well, man, it looks short to me. I don't know. I mean, it was clearly, I don't know how else to describe that other than the NFL made a call. They made a call that they want. They wanted them to have that.
Oh my God, are you shitting me? They count that as a first down?
That was a first down. The
ball
NFL
far from the line.
Well, and the ball wasn't there anyways. So they clearly, he ran the ball in. He's so short of the first. They placed the ball thinking, the referee who's placed the ball is thinking this is going to be a first down. So he places the ball down. It's way further ahead than where Leonard Fournette got, dude. The dude didn't even break the line of scrimmage. It's bad.
No, I watched that, yeah.
They place the ball down. They bring out the chains. I'm thinking the referee's thinking, I placed that ball. I placed it far enough ahead that this will be a first down. They bring out the chains. It's still short. They gave him a first down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So final week of the season, the Falcons should lose. Final week of the season, the Falcons should lose. They should phone it in. I mean, we're trying to get one of those top 4 spots, which is exactly why they won't. Like, they're gonna win this game. I just have a feeling. The last 2 weeks, I know they lost against the Bucs. I know they lost against the Chiefs. They didn't look good in either Saints game. Like, the pass rush by the Saints was crazy. Matt Ryan does not do well under duress anymore. Not that he did beforehand. It seems like they're starting to get some remnants of a run game going. They're protecting Matt Ryan a little better in the last 2 games. They've looked fine without Julio. Like, they've got enough offensive weapons to where they can win games without Julio now. I don't know what that means for the offseason, but that and Aluakon, Deion Jones, Keanu Neal, Grady Jarrett. The defense is getting going. Terrell as a corner looks better every week. I think they're just going to go win a game. Like, I think Morris is going to go get them motivated. They're going to go win a game. And I actually don't know I haven't checked into the ramifications for the Bucs, but I don't know if they have that much to play for, do they? Like, they're a road playoff team, whether they win or they lose.
Yeah, they're in. Yeah.
Saints won the division. They're an away team. They're in. Maybe if they win, they can at least avoid the Saints or the Packers, right? Like, maybe that's what they have to play for. But
yeah.
So who are you gonna
I'm
pick?
taking the Falcons, but I do think the Bucs are clicking right now. So
yeah.
It's a ballsy move, but it's the last week of the season, boys. And I dropped myself out of contention last week anyways. I gotta make some bold moves.
Okay.
And I was so bummed about last week. I had the first 5 games right.
Oh, I started off dog shit. I had to recover.
Yeah. I started off so good, dude. I was like, this is going to be the comeback week. And then the Jets the Browns did a Brown. Mm-hmm. And then Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I
Has
would.
any team gotten just butt rammed more than the Cleveland Browns by COVID, man?
Oh yeah.
Well, we'll
and
get to that.
Oh, and
We'll
then
get to that.
We'll circle back to it.
oh my God, I'm so. I'm picking the Bucks. I think the refs will help them win. So
Sure.
They're a really good team, though. Like
They are,
figuring
but
out they figured out Antonio Brown at the right time. I think there was a Gronk sighting last week too. Like they were pretty good.
that touchdown was massive too.
But the Falcons are slowing the game down right now. There was a 17-14 game against the Chiefs last week. They're slowing it down. And I knew Koo was going to miss that kick. If it's between 35 and 42 yards, for some reason, that's the only neck of the woods he does not hit it. He hasn't missed one from 50 plus this year, but he's got that spot where he just shanks everything. It was a perfect snap, perfect hold. Koo shanked it. Anyways, sorry, I had to vent for a second.
That's all right. We got Dolphins and Bills in Buffalo. Is Josh Allen starting in this game, or are they benching him for? Right here, they already won that division, so
I thought they had to keep winning.
no. The Bills are fine.
Okay,
they won.
I think they're. But I think they're playing for a
home field.
They're trying to lock in the 2 seed. Oh no, yeah, they're trying to lock in the 2 seed over Pittsburgh right now.
That's right. Okay. Well, and Pittsburgh
just
doesn't care about that. We'll get to that.
And Pittsburgh doesn't care about it. So yeah, maybe the Bills do bench him. I don't. He's so young, man. They might just play him.
I picked the Bills in this one, but I do think that the Dolphins have surprised me time and time again this season. They could pull a win out. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins won this game to stay in the playoffs. In fact, I almost kind of hope they do, because I think if they get in and the Colts get in, then the Browns are screwed. So
yeah,
something like that. So good for the Dolphins. I mean, cool. I mean, the Dolphins I like that they're kind of like Tua plays, but when we really need him, we'll bring out Fitzmagic. I don't know.
Yeah, but Fitz has COVID, so there's no Fitz this week no matter what.
Yep. Okay. Which is devastating.
I'm taking the Bills in this game.
Sean, you want to go ahead of me on this one?
I'm just gonna go Bills. I just think I don't like Tua. I really don't.
Making a just a biased.
Yep. I don't like Tua.
All right.
I like the Miami defense though. They've had awesome games this year, and I like Fitzmagic, but I don't like Tua.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think in general, no matter who the Bills put out there, I think that the Dolphins do a good job of winning the games that we don't expect them to win, right? Yeah. Like if we find any reason to rule them out in this game, they're going to go out there, they're going to cause turnovers, cause havoc on defense, play good special teams, and they'll find a way to get it done. I actually think that Miami wins this, mostly just because they have more to play for.
Yeah.
It's the final week of the season. They got to win this. I believe they have to win this.
So
they do have to win.
So that's the biggest. Them, the Ravens, the Colts, the Browns, they're all in that weird
they're
spot,
not,
right?
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah, but the thing,
what does each
There's
team?
A bunch of stuff. Yeah. There's a bunch of moves that have to happen.
The only real way for the Dolphins not to make it is if every other team below them, like Ravens, Browns, and Colts, all have to basically win. So there's a lot that has to happen for the Dolphins, actually. But I still think they're going to go out there. I think it's one of the early games. I think they'll go out there and just make sure that their fate is taken care of. But agreeing with you, Sean, I would prefer Tua goes out there and just completely lays an egg and takes his team out of the playoffs. But more than him doing it, I would prefer Baker Mayfield does it. So, keeping my fingers crossed there, brother.
We'll get there. So we got Ravens, Bengals, and Cincinnati. I'm going with the Ravens in this, kind of on the logic of it's the Bengals, but also the Ravens have a lot to play for in this. So I think they're just going to go out there. They're going to be hungry. They're going to play hard. I think the Ravens will win this game.
The Ravens are so hot right now.
Yeah, I picked the Ravens.
I don't think there's a lot to talk about in this game. One team's the Bengals, but the Bengals have kind of been
They've
like
been
playing
sassy this year. They've been
playing with nothing to lose. I mean, their quarterback's hurt, their running back's hurt. Like Mixon's been out, and they've just been slinging the ball around the yard. When fantasy mattered to me, which was it feels like at least a month ago now. People go, "Oh, don't play Bengals wide receivers anymore because they're basically useless now that Joe Burrow's down." And
they've still
whether it was Finley or Allen, they've just been slinging it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Giovanni Bernard's been doing awesome. He's had like one bad week.
Dude, yeah. Giovanni's been pretty good. He's always pretty good, right? But he's kind of just become like a scat back now. And like his first couple years in his career, I thought he was going to be the guy there. And then he kind of just turned into a pass catching running back. But he looks pretty complete the last few weeks. So good for him. A little resurgence. Maybe he'll go to a different team and get more playing time next year. He'll probably play for the Texans. I'm calling it now. He'll play for the Texans next year.
Steelers Browns in Cleveland. I'm excited for this game to not be in prime time. Thank fucking Christ. It's early to get it over with and be done.
Man, you've had a hard time these past.
Yeah. I mean, what a comeback in that Colts game. I mean, the Steelers show they had to go out there and start. Juju Smith-Schuster said that they started doing plays they hadn't practiced in a long time, where Ben had the ball for longer than 2 seconds. Like defenses have started they figured that out. Obviously, we saw that. So he started holding on the ball a little longer, making plays, extending plays. Like if they do that, yeah, who knows? Connor, he had a few good runs. Like they could still win. They could still win a playoff game. That said, I am taking the Browns in this game. Here's why. I don't want the Browns to win, but the Steelers are going with backup Mason Rudolph, and I hate him to hell. And I don't want him to play good because I don't want that team I don't want them to go with him as Ben's replacement in the future. And I think if he has a good game, it has a few good games, they'll start trying to make arguments like, oh, this could be the next guy. No, he's not the next guy. He's a turd. You need to get rid of him. I think they'll lose. The defense will still play good. I don't even know when this game's going to be. It's not supposed to be in prime time, but I think Joe Hayden has COVID now, and I think they're probably going to move this game to Wednesday, and then they'll have to play on Sunday for the playoffs. Short.
I don't think they're going to move it. I think they're just going to make people play, which
fine. Just get it over with.
Is really bad for the Browns, though, man. Like they actually have people that are going to be on the field getting it. You know what I mean? Like some people they're going to need to win this game. So as much as the Steelers don't care, like this might be close. I'm going to take the Browns, though. Like I think the Browns are going to have enough out there to where they can win this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's close, though.
I still can't believe that they'd shuffle so many games for other teams around.
Well, I mean, the Steelers have been moved around more than any team this season.
But that was to benefit either it was the Ravens,
whoever they were playing.
Benefit the Ravens, benefit the Titans.
Yeah. But like the Niners and the Browns. I mean, the Niners still were in playing to maybe make it, right?
Yeah, I mean they weren't.
They were playing with third string receivers because 3 wide receivers were out, but they didn't try to move the game at all.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how it was that way for some teams and not that way for others.
I just don't think you can move something the last week of the season.
No.
I hope they don't.
The Niners game was like week 7 or something.
I know you're talking about old stuff, but I'm just saying for this particular situation, if I was a Steelers player, I'm not playing Tuesday then Sunday.
Yeah.
I also, as a Steelers fan, I don't want eyes on this game anymore. I am tired of getting the retweets. Like, I want this game to be over. And I want it to be at 10 o'clock in the morning. when nobody's watching it.
I'll be
I
watching.
don't want it moved to Tuesday or Wednesday where eyes can be on it. I want it done. Get it over with. Like a Band-Aid.
You're so stressed out about the Steelers this year. It's
I'm
crazy.
done. I'm done with the season.
I'm picking the Browns, and probably mostly because they decided to start Mason Rudolph.
Sure. Yeah.
I think Myles Garrett's gonna have a fucking day, boys.
I mean, the Steeler defense is still going to Steeler defense, so I mean, we'll see. It's,
Their defense is kind of pootering out a little bit, man.
they've still been playing good. I don't know. Yeah. It's just, I'm glad it's a 10:00 game. Cowboys and Giants in New York. This actually has implications.
If the Giants win, they're in. If the Cowboys win and the Washington Football Club loses, the Cowboys are in. So this is the most important game of the week.
Why are the Giants in if they win?
Because
they have the head-to-head matchup.
Yeah.
Okay, but what if Washington wins? What if Washington wins and the Giants win?
I said it.
I'm not taking a shot right now. I'll bank it later.
You already got 2 in the bank.
No, I got them out of the way on.
Wait, who said it? Did I say it?
I just said it.
You said it.
You bastard.
I didn't say it though, right? I said Washington.
You said Washington.
Oh, dude, we gotta take shots.
I'm not doing it right now.
Hey, I'll do it.
I can't do it right now.
You talked me into it, guys.
I'm doing it. I have to do it.
This is my.
I'm the one who said it. It's the last pick'em of the year. I gotta do it.
Come on, Derek. You don't got anything to do today?
Give me a second.
I don't have a shot glass.
I have to go to Korean barbecue later.
Wear your mask.
Giants and Cowboys both need Washington to lose. That's what Randy says. They both need Washington to lose.
So Washington wins. Giants. Win. Washington wins. Giants win. Giants are.
Doesn't matter. Yeah,
that's totally right. Okay.
So there's still some implications,
but it's
here.
Still an important game.
No,
especially because it takes place earlier than the other one. So it's like both teams are going to be trying. And I was really curious who you guys were going to pick for this. Like, I want to go last because I want to.
Well, so I went with the Giants, and I just went because they're at home. I don't even know who they're starting. Is it Colt McCoy still? Is it?
No, it's Danny Dimes.
Is it Danny back? Okay, so I'm going with that. It's mostly based on I want the Cowboys to lose. I just don't like that team.
I think Andy Dalton's looking real hot.
He's looking better.
I think him and those receivers are clicking. So I think it's going to come down to the wire, but I did pick the Cowboys.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be a very good game.
Okay.
What I like about this game, especially now that I know for sure that if the football club for men wins, is that it might not matter. Like, I like that about it. Like, I like that because I've traditionally not really liked either of these teams. Danny Dimes and Colt McCoy have kind of swayed me. I like Gallman. They've kind of swayed me to being a softie for the Giants, right? And I hope the Giants win. I don't think so. I also picked the Cowboys, by the way. I thought at least one of you was going to pick the Giants.
I thought about switching just now, but then I don't know. Watching Andy Dalton win those receivers last week.
I think the safer bet is to take the Cowboys. I'm taking the Giants based on bias.
Yeah.
I think it can go either way. I think if you're trying to win the pick'em, Derek, I think you're on the right track. Like, you got to differentiate in some way than like chalk. And this would be probably the game to do it. And here's the other thing. We haven't gotten to the other game yet, but Washington's definitely not a lock to win that game. So
no.
We'll talk about it. My hands are sweaty thinking about it.
Yeah.
I don't mind the Cowboys offense. I also think that Kellen Moore is in some ways auditioning for some jobs right now.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
All I'm saying is that the Boise State head coaching job is open, and he would be a great college head coach. He still does commercials and stuff here. He's still in the area. The
They'd
area
love
loves
him.
him.
They'd love him. Yeah.
I don't like.
He'd be a great head coach for Boise State. I mean, what a job.
I don't know what pays more, the head coach at Boise State or the offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. We could easily Google it, but I'm not going to.
I refuse.
I could Google it, but Google's all the way over there. Like that's like a foot away from me right now. I think for his career, depending on what he wants to do, for his career, Boise State head coaching job makes a lot of sense. And I'm not a Boise State homer, by the way. Everyone knows.
Yeah.
I pretty much think they're the worst.
Yeah. Their field is the ugliest thing ever.
Career-wise,
I would be excited for both of them. The only reason I dislike Kellen Moore is because he was a pain in my ass for a couple of years. And if he wouldn't have been, I wouldn't have cared. I would think he's a great dude. He's a huge overachiever as a human. Like, should not have been a professional quarterback, and he was. That being said, Sean, cheers.
Hey, Derek, are you?
I don't have a shot glass in here with me.
You got the bottle. Just take a swig. Cheers. Okay.
Can't do it. Not right now.
Okay, there it is. There's the Sunday ticket.
Watched Sean gag, but all right.
That's why Dad left Mom. I get it.
Minnesota Vikings.
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Mom. Sorry, it's not a knock on her.
He did it. He took a sip. He took a swig.
It's not a knock on her. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful lady and well.
Hey, man. I will notice though that Hobble Creek bottle's looking real low. Like you've been dipping and diving.
It's in the same bottle.
Look how full mine is still.
Hey, I'm on my sixth bottle.
I did well. I had a few shots on when we were on the wrestling shows. I've had a few shots. So
all right.
Damn. All right. Minnesota Vikings at Detroit Lions. There's no implication. I don't think either of these teams can get
the
in.
implication is which team's worse.
Yeah. I took the Vikings. I mean, I just don't think there's any hope for the Lions right now.
Well, and if the Lions lose, which they're going to, way to bury the lead there. But when the Lions lose, they put themselves in a prime position, especially after the Falcons beat the Bucs, to draft one of those top dog quarterbacks. They're going to get one of the guys in the top 3. You know who'd be a great fit there? Zach Wilson.
Oh,
he'd be a great fit there because, he sucks and they suck, and I hope that they suck together for a really long time.
We don't know who's going to be the coach next year, right?
No, we don't.
Doesn't matter. They'll probably have a total bone for Zach Wilson, and then I don't have to deal with him.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I want them to get another quarterback because I think Matt Stafford was. I think he could be a good quarterback somewhere else, and they paid him way too much to initially. He got all these back injuries because he's basically was carrying that team on his shoulders for 4 seasons, and
he had 82 other men on his back, so that makes sense.
Well, him and Megatron
53 is the final roster, I think.
Yeah. Man, and that was so unfortunate when Megatron retired because I was like, maybe one more season with you and Matt Stafford, maybe, you know?
Don't you guys kind of feel like, though, if it's up to Matt Stafford, he's probably going to stay? Like, because he seems like someone who would be a loyal person. Like, I'm loyal to the city that I've been at for almost a decade now. And Marvin Jones is there. The Galladay Inn is there. They got a great new tight end in Hawkinson. Swift is a great running back. The weapons are finally around him.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's blamed Matt Stafford also for their woes either. I don't think they've turned on Matt Stafford. I think he's a likable guy. I don't think he's not the weak link in that team. Like if you bring in a quarterback, just like the Jets, like it's not a miracle. Like it's just not.
But sadly, what I think is whoever takes over as the new general manager, they're going to get the shiny new toy type feel with the draft coming around, and it's a super stacked quarterback class. And I think they're going to move on from him prematurely. And some team like the Patriots or San Francisco or the Washington Football Club for men is going to
need a quarterback, dude.
I know, but they're also dumb, and they're probably also going to move on prematurely. Sadly, I don't think they should. I don't think either team should. That's not what this is about, dog.
I know.
That's not what this is about.
But Jimmy G, I love him. I love his jaws. His jaw.
Personally, I think I would like to see Washington draft a young guy and keep Alex Smith for one more year. That's what I would like to see. But if they moved on to someone like Matt Stafford, just another already developed, mature quarterback, I think that totally makes sense too.
Okay, well,
Patriots, that would totally make sense too.
Yeah. I would take Stafford to San Francisco because I know he can chug a beer.
Because he's not a bitch, yeah.
Let's go Jets and Patriots. Oh, did you guys pick a team?
Vikings.
Okay. Jets and Patriots in New England. I went with the Jets in this game. I think for one thing, they've lost a lot of close games, and I still have faith in Sam Darnold. And I think now that they've screwed themselves out of that spot, they're going to play. And I think the Patriots suck. The Patriots just suck.
Yeah, they're really sorry.
And so I think the Jets, for one thing, the Jets defense looked pretty good in that last game. Like, I was pretty taken aback from that in general. I don't know. So I finally were able to talk about this. They won themselves out of contention for Trevor Lawrence, which is great news for Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that they need to start putting pieces around Darnold. I don't know that the team has to move on from him. I still don't think they have to. They can still build a team around that young quarterback. They're not gonna. They're gonna get a quarterback. They still will, I'm sure. But now in the draft, who do you take that's better than Sam Darnold now? I mean, Trevor Lawrence is going to be that guy that, regardless of whoever was number one, they're going to take Trevor Lawrence. He's supposed to be this generational talent, blah, blah, blah.
The latest mock draft from CBS Sports says Zach Wilson from BYU will go to the Jets at number 2, which also that's a great spot for Zach Wilson. It's not the Falcons. It's a great home for him. It's a team that sucks. He sucks.
But they don't. Awesome. But drafting him would be stupid. You already have Sam Darnold. Like, I guess what I'm saying is when it was Trevor Lawrence, it's like, okay, I guess I get it. Maybe Darnold will get onto a better team,
But I would look yeah, I agree. I would look at Zach Wilson as the next Sam Darnold if I did that move. I'm just pushing
successful.
And actually I think that Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson are like the same age. So you're not even
because Darnold was drafted early. He was only
because he's not Mormon. Yeah, exactly. Zach Wilson's 21. They're the same age.
Right. So it doesn't make sense to replace. You're not. When it was Trevor, I got it. But if it's not him, then it doesn't make sense to go get another quarterback and not put other pieces around him and try to do anything. That's why it's good news for Lawrence. Dude, Jacksonville will spend some money to help Trevor Lawrence. They spent think about that franchise. They wasted all that money on Blake Bortles.
Yeah, for a while.
So they'll spend money. If they can get Trevor, they'll get Trevor Lawrence. They'll spend money to put stuff around Trevor Lawrence to get him some wins. They've
guys,
the playoffs in the last 5 years.
Guys, this mock draft, by the way, it's nice. Like, you guys need to take a gander at this. This is pretty good stuff.
Link it in the chat.
Link it in the chat.
I'm going to link it in the chat because, like, here's the deal. It has Trey Lance, the North Dakota State quarterback, going to
You like him.
Your precious San Francisco 49ers, and that is badass.
That is really good.
Okay. I mean, I sadly agree with you about them prematurely moving on.
Yeah.
Well, that wouldn't even be premature. I think that Lance is going to take a year or two to develop, so they would just keep Jimmy G till the end of his contract if they did that. That's why this mock draft makes a ton of sense to me. It also has the Falcons drafting another corner at 4 and not taking a quarterback. I think that implies that they're probably going to trade down. Yeah, Atlanta is in a trade down situation, and they're having them get Caleb Farley from the Virginia Tech University. It makes a ton of sense. Anyways, all I'm saying is check this out. It's pretty dope.
Right.
I think I agree with it. I didn't scroll down enough to see what the Steelers were going to get, but I think this makes a ton of sense. Panthers getting Justin Fields at like 8 or 9. That's a money move. Like what I think the Falcons and them will do is switch spots, and then Justin Fields goes to the Panthers.
The Panthers have Teddy Bridgewater. They don't need anyone. They don't need a quarterback.
Teddy Bridgewater is there to be a bridge quarterback. It's in the name. It's implied, dude.
Yeah, I like Teddy, and then we also got to recognize that he is injury prone.
And he's also like, I don't know if it's talent or if it's just who he is, but like it's just implied that Teddy Bridgewater is just there to like hold the fort down until the next guy comes in.
Sadly, they had a cool year. I won't say a good year. They had a cool year.
They had a year where they contested in a lot of games that they lost.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, enjoy that.
Pittsburgh projected at their Jalen Mayfield from Michigan. Lineman.
Yeah, that just totally makes sense.
Yeah, it does. That's what that team does.
So I disagree with both of you guys, though. I understand why you guys picked the Jets, but I'm going to take the Patriots. Although, like, the Jets really have nothing to lose by winning for the first time this year. Like, if the Jets win, who said that?
That's Dusty Katzenberger.
I love his picture.
Yeah, I do too. Doesn't like either.
Did you throw the game on?
Dusty, you're a Detroit fan. How do you feel?
He missed all the Lions talk already. I want
to know as a fan if he wants to move on from Stafford, because I have a theory that the fans haven't turned on Matt Stafford.
No fan has. I mean,
how could you?
He's probably the best quarterback in the history of their franchise, and when I say probably, I mean by a long shot, man.
You
Not
don't
even
think
close.
John Kitna? Kidding.
John Kitna was great as a Bengal.
He was great as a Seahawk.
He was fine as a Seahawk. He was great.
He was okay.
He was okay, dude.
So you're taking the Patriots?
Yeah, even though I agree with you, like the Jets have nothing to lose from winning, right? Like if the Jets win, they're still the 2 seed. So win or lose, they're the 2 seed. Why not go out there and just make your living real quick for a weekend? But I'm going to take the Patriots.
Megatron retired as a Lion.
That's true. Oh, Dusty. Okay, so the fans have not turned on Matt Stafford. They want to release him so that he can go play for a good team. That actually feels feels right. That feels like that's what I was saying. Like I don't think Lions fans haven't turned on Matt Stafford. They like him and want him to go play for a good team.
Yeah, I just hope someone treats him better in the future. Yeah, for sure.
I just think the Jets are too hot, Zach. They're too hot right now.
That's fine.
Okay.
But you know what Belichick's not going to do?
Lose to the
Jets. Although he almost did when they had Flacco in this season, which should have been a sign that they were dog shit, right? Like when Flacco almost beat them on a Thursday night, we should have known.
Yeah.
Then, because that was when they were still around 500. We should have known they were fucking trash, but we didn't.
We did. I mean, we did know.
I think we knew. I think we actually did know.
Packers Bears in Chicago. I think the Packers win. Pretty easily.
I think Packers go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but you guys gotta watch out for Papa Mitchell right now.
Yeah.
Trubisky's throwing it around. Everyone's gonna like.
Do they don't have a chance to make it in, right? They're out.
No, they're out.
They're in.
The Bears. Oh, if the Bears are in. Oh, the Bears win, they're in.
The Bears are in right now. The Bears are in over the Cardinals right now.
Okay, yeah. So what if
they're both technically in?
What does this do for the Packers if they win? Are they going to be number 1 seed?
They got to lock in that one over the Saints.
Okay. And
Packers are going to go out there and ball out.
The Rams are the wild card, right?
There's 3 wild cards now.
Yeah.
That's right. Fuck, I'm still so confused by that. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so
the Rams are going to make it in. Even if the Rams lose, they're probably still in. So we're just jockeying for that final spot right now.
I'm almost thinking I need to switch to Bears because they're going to play hungry. They're going to play tough.
But I think the Packers are going to want that freaking bye week, man. And Aaron Rodgers.
Personally, I think the Packers have enough to win it regardless. I don't think they're sitting anybody. If they're not sitting anybody, I'm taking the Packers. They're a better team.
I'm picking the Packers. I'm still going to stay on the Packers.
I'm going to take the Packers. But I think the Bears, like,
it's not a gimme.
For all of us to say it's going to be a blowout is crazy because the Bears are playing great football right now.
I will say this: I wish Mitch would have played all year. He throws to Allen Robinson more. So,
well, you don't get those days back. But
yeah, thank you.
I mean, that's like the narrative right now, right? That Nagy might have cost them a playoff berth because he switched to Foles for too long.
I mean, I agree, man, and I think that's what happened with the Niners.
Now what do you do? Now what do you do in an off season? Like, now you switch back to Mitch, and he's playing well. So then, do you feel obligated to try again next year, or do you move on from him?
Well, and then is Mitch upset about it now?
They made it. I think he's fine. I think that part's fine. But like moving on from him, like they're going to draft middle of the first round now. There's going to still be quarterbacks there. Yeah. But I don't know. That's a tough spot.
I think you'd just be more likely to stick with Mitch and then maybe less likely to move on to somebody else so quickly, especially Foles. Like,
I like Foles, but yeah, he's not the guy. He never will be.
Foles is probably going to go back to Philly.
You think?
That's where he could be, yeah.
And be a backup, yeah.
Go back up Jalen Hurts.
Does he still live in Philly, or where does he even live?
He probably lives wherever his house is what I guess.
I'm just if I'm
Foles, in Philly forever.
If I'm Foles, I want to be in Philly because they're still going to think he's a hero, like regardless of what career he has for the remainder for whatever he's done. He still won them a Super Bowl. Like, he's still like a Philly hero. Like, it makes sense for him to be there. No. He should have never left.
Well, that's their fault for not keeping him because he would have stayed.
All right. So,
who isn't a bum, Dusty?
Las Vegas. If I'm Foles, I'm getting a day job. You probably already have. Las Vegas Raiders at the Denver Broncos. No implications here. The Raiders played themselves out. Man, I'm still adamant that the last two games, or at least the last one, I would have taken the Raiders had they been starting Mariota. I still think they should have been starting Mariota.
I mean, they just should have won that game regardless. Like,
dude, that was such a good. I think that Mariota, the battle of the Oregon quarterbacks, I think that was honestly game of the year. That was such a good game. Both of those guys went ball out. I mean, that was such a good game.
One of the only Thursday game I've missed this year was that game.
That's a shame because it was a really good game, and Mariota looked awesome. In fact, we were said in the chat, but I hope Mariota can start somewhere because I think he still got it. And man, that was such a good game. I would have taken the Raiders last week if they would have had Mariota still.
I mean, I took the Raiders last week, regardless, and I'm taking them this week as well, regardless. But
I am taking the Raiders this week.
I'm taking the Raiders.
Derek Carr needs to end the season on a good note.
He does.
Yeah.
But I don't think Mariota is their future if he doesn't. They're just going to move on completely.
But there's space somewhere for Mariota to go.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, he's still going to have to come in there and take the job from someone, though. He's not going to get like handed a starting job anywhere based off of what he did 2 weeks ago.
yeah.
That's true. But you got to imagine someone's looking at him.
As a backup, for sure.
As a backup. All right, so we got the Titans against the Texans. I think the Titans probably win this one pretty easily. Although the Texans, as long as you got Watson, you always got a chance. It's just
Titans have to win, right?
they
They don't have to win. They can still make it in with a loss.
I think they won their division.
Well, that depends on what the Colts do, but yeah.
That depends on the Colts. Yeah. I guess that's the only division. That's the only division that hasn't been decided. Okay. So Titans.
Well, it's not a bump.
I'm taking the Titans.
Yeah.
I picked the Titans. I do feel bad for JJ Watt. Did you guys watch the video? I think I shared it with you guys.
Yeah, I saw it.
Feel so bad for that man. Guy has too much heart for that city.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he kind of, and also I was going to say this about a reason to take them is that he kind of called the team out, right? Like,
yeah,
he wants that team to step up. They have, even with them having a terrible offseason last year, they still have a ton of talent.
Yeah. I mean, Hopkins is great, but Will Fuller is amazing.
Yeah, but they're all out. Every single person on that, any weapon on that team is not in right now.
Yeah.
Man. Jaguars, Colts in Indianapolis. I think the Colts win it. I just don't see the Jaguars trying specifically hard to win it. I mean, they're gonna try. I just don't. The Colts are just a better team, obviously.
The Colts must win, right?
The Colts do need to win it.
I think they're gonna dominate this game. I think if there was a game I was gonna lock in my pick for, it'd be this one.
Yeah. I'm picking the Colts for sure.
Okay. Chargers, Chiefs, in Kansas City. I went with Kansas City in this one, but I'm not surprised if the Chargers pull one out. It's just they're still a good team. I hope Lynn doesn't get fired. I think give him one more.
I have a feeling he might.
Is that
I do too. Yeah. I have a feeling that he might get fired as well. I just don't.
Really? You don't think how long has he been the coach?
2 years.
2 years. That's why I think he might get fired. I just think you could go with him at least for one more season.
I hope they do. I
do too. I don't think he's. I mean, you got to win those close games. I know it's hard to be like they had so many close games. You do got to win those games. It's like a typical Chargers, to lose these close games. Obviously, they figured it out with Herbert, though. Like, he's absolutely the quarterback of that franchise for the future. They figured it out.
Justin Herbert is my favorite quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Me too.
Brilliant.
He's number one.
He adapted so quickly. Like, that's insane. Like, he's so good.
Yeah, but I think, the next step is just to get that winning culture in there. And I think they might just say, easy way to establish that is just bring in a different coach. Yeah. But I think Anthony Lynn is a good coach. I think they could turn it around with him. Yeah, he's kind of getting a raw deal, but I think he gets fired. I really do. I also think they win this game. I'm pretty sure the Chiefs are going to bench everyone, at least in the second half.
I just switched.
Yeah, I think the Chargers win this game, and I think they, why not win the game? They're going to go out there and ball out.
I just switched to the Chargers as well.
Keenan Allen is out again.
They're not, the Chiefs are not starting anyone, I don't believe, on either side of ball.
No,
so I don't know why you would pick the Chiefs.
My dad's in a playoff fantasy this week, and he had to find someone to switch out for Kelsey. So Kelsey's not playing. If Kelsey's not,
should not be playing. Okay, I meant to bring this up earlier. You should not be playing fantasy football in Week 17. If you're in a league where the commissioner has Week 17 games, you should quit that league. Do not play fantasy football in leagues where they make you play 17 weeks of the year. That is so stupid. Your best players, if they're on good teams, are going to sit this week 17. Make the championship week 16 or quit that shit.
Well, and then I told you like the weird thing that they did in this league, right? Where it's like 2 weeks. I play the same person for 2 weeks and the points accumulate.
Best of 2 weeks. Yeah, best of 2 weeks. That's normal. That's pretty normal.
I've never played. I don't like it. I also told my non-PPR leagues that I will not return unless we switch to PPR.
I like standard. I'm a standard bitch, but what can I say?
I don't like. I think it makes a more wide variety for players who aren't necessarily touchdown receivers.
You mean who aren't necessarily good? Like that's really what you're saying. Players that actually aren't good can still get you points. That's stupid.
Well, no. Well, they are good. They just aren't. They're not red zone threat. So they get touches. They get the 7
touches. Doesn't mean you're good though.
7, 8,
like you shouldn't get a point per catch if you're not getting any yards on them.
But I'm not asking for like 8 points. I want the yards too. I'm not gonna go with like Marvin Jones. If Marvin Jones is there with Kenny Galladay, who's gonna get the touchdown? Probably
if you're a scat back and you're getting 7 or 8 catches out of the backfield for only 40 yards, and you're still getting 12 to 14 points for that,
but those are
that's
like
garbage.
Those are like
that's
good
garbage.
Flexes. Those are good flex players.
That they are good flex players, but they're not real good football players.
My league, my commissioner said that our league is going to have flex next year, so that's good.
Well, they should have flex, but they should not be.
We didn't have any flex.
So you don't like PPR.
I play both,
but you prefer standard.
I think standard takes way more talent, way more skill. By the way, they're both just guessing games.
I mean,
like
I did win 2 years in a row in a standard league, so maybe I'm
exactly. You should be sticking to that then.
Sunday afternoon game, Arizona Cardinals at the Los Angeles Rams in LA. In LA. I think this could be game of the week. This could be a really good game.
It's a huge game.
It's a huge game, and also it was kind of a pick. Hard to choose. I went with the Rams.
I'm switching actually.
Jared
Goff.
No Jared Goff.
No Jared Goff.
He broke his thumb or something.
Yeah, he's out another week with that broken thumb.
Who's his backup? Anyone?
Some dude who's never taken an NFL snap.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals on it then.
Yeah. That was not a. There was no debate in this one for me.
I made the pick when I was shit-faced last weekend before his injury.
Right, and I thought
I made it before I knew about the injury.
Early. I made it pretty early as well, but Bryce Perkins from the practice squad as a COVID-19 replacement. So yeah, like what's going to happen is Jared Goff's backup's probably going to get COVID, and then we're down to like third string somebody. Yeah. I think it's going to be a mess. I think this game's going to be a mess in general. But yeah, it's John Wolford, and then Blake Bortles is his backup, which is funny that Blake Bortles can't even be like the number 2. Right. Instead it's a first-year player out of Wake Forest.
The Jaguars paid him so much money.
Yeah, and Blake Bortles can't even get the backup job anymore. That's hilarious.
New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers. I went with the Saints. I don't even know who's benched or who knows. Carson Palmer, he had another ACL injury. And he retired.
Yeah, he's 100. That's what happened to him.
And he retired when Bruce Arians retired.
That makes sense.
That man should have had a Super Bowl.
I mean, Carson Palmer with Bruce Arians, remember, was great in Arizona. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, him and Larry, Big Dick Larry.
Yeah, that was a good time. I like Carson Palmer too.
That was one of the best Super Bowls I've ever watched. The Cardinals Steelers Super Bowl.
But that wasn't Carson Palmer though. That was Kurt Warner.
Oh, that was Kurt Warner.
That was Kurt the Flirt Warner, baby.
And that was right before Carson Palmer, right?
Right.
Yeah.
They knew the team still had talent, so they went and got another veteran.
Well, remember, Kurt took that starting position. Kurt took that starting position for Matt Leinart, remember?
Right. And Carson at that time period was balling out for the Raiders, actually was like gunning the ball around the field, but the Raiders weren't very good, so he jumped ship and went to Arizona, which makes tons of sense.
Yeah.
It was a great fit for him.
So
with
it
his
was.
like 2 robot legs.
And him with Bruce Arians. I mean, that was a great. Bruce Arians is a great coach. So
we're
Heck
on
of a coach.
the
Saints.
Saints Panthers. I took Saints.
Okay.
I don't think Kamara's playing, by the way. Dusty said Alvin Kamara, baby. I'm pretty sure he's on the COVID list.
Yeah, he is. I'm picking Saints, but with this being said, because the next week Seahawks Niners, what has to happen between the Seahawks, Saints, and Green Bay? Green Bay loses, Saints lose, Hawks win. Do they get the first seed? What's the deal there?
No, I don't think so. I think there's just 2 teams in contention for that.
Is that just the Saints and the Packers?
Yeah.
Because the Seahawks are still 11-4. And so are the Saints.
Didn't they lose to both of those teams?
The Seahawks did? I'm not sure.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. Then it would come down to head-to-head matchup.
Okay. Okay. That was my question. That's it. But I am picking the Saints.
I don't think they played the Saints this year. Did they play the Packers? Now I'm having a hard time remembering if they played. They probably didn't play either of those teams. There is no head-to-head. No, there's no head-to-head.
Well, the Niners did. The Niners played the Saints and the Packers.
Sure, but I'm saying like the Seahawks didn't.
Okay.
So
I thought okay.
I don't know the tiebreaker there is what I'm saying.
All right.
So that does bring us to Seahawks and Niners. I did go with the Seahawks in this.
Nope.
Go with Niners?
Niners are going to win. Niners are going to upset these little fucking bitch Hawks.
I think that'd be awesome if they did.
George Kittle's
would love it.
CJ Beathard's a sexy fucker. I think CJ Beathard should have been starting over Mullins the whole time. So
Probably.
But Ayuk is out, so I don't know. That brings him down to Kendrick Bourne.
I mean, they're a well-coached team. They're going to probably play pretty well. They're going to run the football. And it's a home game for them, even though I don't think that matters either, except for travel.
Is it Seahawks at San Francisco?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Seahawks just because I think they're going to want to end the year strong. But
I think I can't. I don't want. I can't. I don't want it.
Okay.
I hope it's like last year. I hope they lose by a field goal or like a stop on like the goal line.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a good game. I'm not going to watch it.
Well, you're not going to watch it?
No way.
Why not?
I'm going to do I'll probably be watching Lord of the Rings.
Hey man, you win.
I would not probably. I'll be watching Lord of the Rings.
So for the Sunday night game, no Monday football. Sunday night game, we got Washington Football Club for men and the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. This was not an easy one to pick. Is Alex Smith playing?
He practiced. He's still hurt, but he practiced, but he's also questionable. So that's very up in the air. I'm going to say he's going to play because he knows they need him. And, well, obviously they need him. So
Did you guys watch last week's game?
The last week's Washington game?
Yes.
No.
I did. The guy that came in after Dwayne Haskins was pulled looked pretty fucking good. I'm not saying Alex Smith good, but I'm saying
it just seems like a good, it's a quality team, right? Like I shouldn't say that they're 6-9. They're not a quality team. They're an okay team, but I don't think that quarterback is like the make or break. It's Taylor Heineke is their backup.
That's right. Yeah.
He was balling out. He came in and changed the entire mood. It was amazing.
But that said, I've noticed, the Eagles look a lot different with Hurts. Rejuvenated him a bit. I don't know. This is a tough game. I'm gonna go with Washington on the road. Maybe to will it into existence. I would like to see Washington over Dallas, over the Giants.
If not Washington, I want the Giants.
For sure. I'm right there with you on that. But this is a wishful thinking game for me. I do want our official team of sports program, the Washington Football Club, to make it.
Me too.
And I hope Alex Smith plays. Like, if Alex Smith plays, I'm gonna turn that game on. I'll probably, well, no, I won't. I'm not gonna watch it. The Spurs are playing, but and if they're not playing, then I'm gonna watch Lord of the Rings. But
Why don't you just have
I
like
won't
4
watch.
TVs?
I watch one thing at a time.
I don't. I watch 7
No one's really watching multiple things at once. You're looking at something and then you're looking at something else. You're watching one thing.
I last night I was playing a video game while watching the Marvel movies while the Spurs Lakers game was on my phone.
Yeah, so you were playing video games.
I was doing all 3.
I was playing Destiny while Schitt's Creek was playing in the background.
I also went poop for a while, and I went poop and watched the end of the Lakers game, the last 4 minutes.
Very nice.
Then you were definitely watching the Lakers game for sure.
Well, at that point, it was like 90-10. I was 10% shitty, 90% watching.
Oh, for sure. It doesn't. That's pretty high level stuff right there. Like you don't need to put a bunch of bandwidth into taking a dump.
Well, you've never watched me dump.
I mean, if you're like head down, just making sure it's all working.
I often almost pass out when shitting.
Because you're just forcing it so hard, or like what's going on?
Yeah, I just get lightheaded. It's weird.
You should see a doctor.
Nah, fuck that.
You should see a doctor about that if you're.
Well, after talking about the glasses thing with Derek, like maybe, but
maybe just take it easier, man. Like I would say that's my biggest advice is just take it easier on yourself. Maybe just let it happen.
Just sit there instead of letting it trying to force it.
You don't control the dump. It controls you. You have to realize that.
Yeah.
So speaking of dump, are you guys both taking the football club?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we can sugarcoat this game all we want, but it's a dump fest. This is the number one. This is the most exciting toilet bowl of the year.
Whoever makes it in this NFC division between Cowboys, Giants, it's trash. They're gonna lose next week.
Okay, real quick question though, before we end the show. What really is the toilet bowl? Here are what I would suggest the options are.
Okay.
I would say Vikings, Detroit. That's an early candidate. Jets, Patriots, Denver, Las Vegas, or this game.
Here's what's hard for me is the football club and Eagles, Giants, Cowboys. Those are games that lead to a playoff.
Yeah,
the other games,
you're right.
The other games. So I think those can't be counted because it does mean something.
So Vikings, Lions, or Jets, Patriots, or Vegas, Broncos. But I feel like that's going to be a good game, actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna
go Lions, Vikings.
I think it's hard. It's hard.
Go Spurs, go.
I think Jets, Patriots because they're both so shitty. Dude, Coney. Yeah, Coney's a Spurs fan, bro. That's my boy. That's my boy Coney.
I think Jets and Patriots might be the worst game of the week. I'm gonna go back. Jets Patriots is gonna be the worst game of the week. That's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a mess.
Sloppy.
I think every other game has potential to be a fun game to watch. Where I feel like that. I feel like the Jets Patriots game is going to be like 16-13.
Yeah,
I think
dog.
If you put it on, you're gonna be tempted the entire time to turn it off, even if you're kind of into one of those teams.
The people who are going to watch the Jets and the Patriots are Jets fans and Patriots fans.
Right, and even they're going to be like, well, I could also watch Lord of the Rings instead.
They could also
do that. They're going to be drastically tempted. On
Dragon Ball Z.
Let's be honest.
If they have kids, they're going to switch to Paw Patrol for sure.
Let's be honest. I am always like, I could just be watching Lord of the Rings for most stuff.
The new Saved by the Bell is pretty good.
I haven't seen it yet.
I'm a couple episodes deep now. I'd rather watch that, but I'd probably rather watch things that I don't like.
I'll probably start Cobra Kai.
Yeah, I've been considering that.
I've watched the first 2 seasons, so I'll probably watch season 3 instead of
It's
anything.
a Netflix show now, right?
It is, yeah. Yep.
Which is, now that The Office is off of Netflix, I don't feel like there's a huge need to keep it.
So
No.
here's the thing. Schitt's Creek is still on.
That's true, and I have not finished it a third time yet.
You guys,
New Girl.
I have YouTube TV though, and I went in and I've put all of those in my library. So I have all of The Office still. I have all of Schitt's Creek still.
I don't need to watch The Office.
Perfect.
I do. I actually, that's a lie. I need to watch.
That's great for you, Sean.
I need to watch their Christmas episodes.
Sure. They were all on Christmas, by the way. Every one of them was on Christmas.
They're so good. They're the
And your buddy missed this, Sean, but we did talk about the Spurs game.
We did talk about it, Coney. We did talk.
And it was a good game. And I think we showed a lot in that game.
Mike Wegg says Sopranos if you have it. That's a fair point.
You know what? I'd rather watch Boardwalk Empire.
It's a good show.
Then The Sopranos? That's
Yeah.
a great. They're both good.
They're both good. I couldn't choose between those two.
Actually, I'd rather watch The Black Donnellys.
That's a good show. Only one season though.
Yeah, and it got canceled because of the writer's strike, not because it was a bad show.
It was a good show.
Where would a guy like me find that?
On DVD.
On DVD, it was on Netflix for a bit.
It was on Netflix for a bit.
Here, let's do
What
some.
I'm saying is, there's not a ton of reasons for me to watch.
That main guy from this is fun. That main guy on Black Donnellys was in the movie The Ruins, which is terrible. But
Yeah.
I tweeted him a long time ago when I watched Black Donnellys for the first time, and I said, "Hey, is The Ruins the the real finale to Black Donnellys?" And he retweeted that. He liked that. He thought that was funny.
That's awesome.
And they're nothing to do with
So, do you have NBC streaming?
like Peacock.
Which is
Yeah,
Peacock?
I have Peacock.
Okay, I think it's on Peacock.
What is?
The Black Donnellys.
Oh, well, then I got it.
Okay.
That's a good show.
Did you get Peacock just because of The Office?
No, I got it because of Saved by the Bell.
Oh, okay.
I got
I'm
it because of BT Bio, but I'm caught up now.
I'm not paying for Peacock, but I got it for Dan Patrick and Rich Eisen.
That's enough.
They're on there.
That's a part of the free part, right?
It is, yeah. They're free. You can watch them. They're on every day.
There's plenty of free content on there. I pay for the premium plus. I get the no ads and all that stuff.
Yeah, you can't. I couldn't do free Hulu.
The only thing I've watched on
I do free Hulu.
Peacock so far. I have the Hulu that came with Disney Plus. Whatever that.
I have the Hulu that came with Spotify because when you have Spotify, you get Hulu for free. So,
Why are there so many different packages?
I
Why
don't know.
can't we just all have one thing?
Because it's the same as what cable was doing, and then
I will say this: if I didn't get Hulu for free, I wouldn't have it
I wouldn't either.
at all.
Yeah, honestly, and especially now because we like Adventure Time, but Adventure Time's on HBO Max.
Right.
HBO Max has a lot of the same stuff, and
Oh, yeah.
actually, you get Hulu for free with HBO Max now.
Yeah.
as well.
Everything is changing, and I love it. I'm really interested in Peacock now because The Black Donnellys is like one of my favorite shows.
It's a good show.
And AP Bio season 3. I'm just saying.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching the show, listening to the show. Enjoy football this weekend. Enjoy all other sports. Happy New Year to everyone. 2021. COVID's over. It's all over.
Yeah, it's like it never happened.
Yeah. Everyone, no one's wearing masks. It's fine now.
New year, new earth. That's what I've always said.
Yeah.
New year, new me.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great
New
weekend.
Everything.
Go Ducks. Go Warriors.
Spurs.
Go Spurs. Go Lakers.
Yep.
Go Blazers. Go everything. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Go watch Lord of the Rings.
Go watch Lord of the Rings.
Go watch The Black Donnellys.
Go watch the Black
And the Black
Donnelly.
Donnellys.
And of course, Dragon Ball Z. Thanks, everybody. Have a good week.